Hello, I'm Gus Krieger. I'm the Associate Artistic Director of the Porters of Hell's Gate Theatre Company. I've been here since the very beginning and doing Christmas Carol for the last 4 years. The inspiration for doing this show was that I've always had a love of the material. When I was in college, I was fortunate enough to get to be in the ensemble of the Hartford stage production of A Christmas Carol, A Ghost Story of Christmas, which is their annual version of it over there. And I really developed a love for the staged versions of it and all of the different ways that you could bring that material to life on stage. I think everybody has their own sort of favorite adaptation in mind. I know people often first come to this through Mr. Magoo or the Muppets or Mickey Mouse or any number of those kind of versions, and getting a little closer to the actual classical text was what made me want to investigate it even further. My wife and I first put this together in 2018. We mounted it in Bishop, California, through some lovely and gracious friends over there, and then got to do a little remount here in North Hollywood at the group rep. We decided to do it together for the very romantic reason of that the director is my wife, and we had just gotten married, and we got to do the serendipitous thing of having the first stage play that we worked on together post-nuptials be something that she was literally directing and I was literally adapting and starring in, and nobody else was involved in the creative side of it for that initial production. So it was a very just nice self-contained way to do that, and ever since we've been fortunate enough to remount it with a couple of different companies, as well as in our own living room over Zoom when that was a thing. So the hope is to keep doing it year after year. My history with the Porters dates all the way back to 2006 when the company was founded. I was Caius Cassius in Julius Caesar, the inaugural production, and have been involved in one way or another, either producerially or on the stage with them for most of the productions ever since, and have gotten to play a number of roles that were sort of lifelong bucket list items for me, including Richard III, Signor Benedict, Shylock from The Merchant of Venice, and it's been an absolute joy over all these many years, and I'm so fortunate that they were enthusiastic about doing Christmas Carol as well. The question has been posed by many over the last few years of, do we really need a million versions of this, both filmed and live every year? Aren't there newer, more invigorating works to be investigating around the holiday season? The answer to that is absolutely, and we should be making those efforts. But Christmas Carol is a perennial for a reason, and I think it speaks to the need for optimism and hope and joy in all of us. The original piece is very unironic. There's a temptation to put some kind of a spin on it when you do it. For us, that spin is that it's a one-person show, but we really, really wanted to stay very close to the classical text outside of that, because that's the one element that you lose a little bit in many of these adaptations. And the interesting thing is, doing our research for the show, Christmas as we know it didn't exist before Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. It was a relatively minor holiday. Some of the trappings that we think of as necessary were invented by him. There was a huge run on turkeys the year after A Christmas Carol was published, because every high society person suddenly needed a turkey, because that's what Dickens said the classy people did at Christmas. So I think that as long as we are celebrating Christmas itself, we should be telling the story of A Christmas Carol.